Hello, everybody. C. Ray Brower here with your perfect home, and I've got Corinne Andrews with Cross Country Mortgage, the baking loan officer. And we're going to come right back next as soon as I get back. And we are back. How's it going, Corinne?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too.
Yeah.
Did you get anything special for Valentine's Day?
Um, no, not really, but I've been baking up a storm, that's for sure.
Lots of other people are getting nice things for
Yeah,
Valentine's
yeah. Yeah, my coworkers are very happy.
Day. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yep. So we are having a drawing for everybody that likes, comments, and shares either on Corinne's page, Corinne's business page, my 3 or 4 business pages that this is coming out on. We didn't get on LinkedIn today for some reason. It didn't want to connect, but YouTube. What else have we got? YouTube, Twitter, and all of the business pages. So be sure to like, comment, and share so that we will be able to get your information. Because if you haven't liked our business page, we can't even get hold of you to win that beautiful. Let's see, did you do the Better Than Sex cake?
Yes, I'm famous for that. It's my famous cake.
So that's what is the Valentine's present of the day for your likes, comments, and shares. Better Than Sex chocolate cake.
It can't be beat, I'll tell you. It's a
I've
treat.
seen
Everybody
pictures. I
loves
haven't tried it.
it.
Wonderful. So, how's things been for the last month?
I'm starting to feel a little shift forward, just a little bit. People are getting the message that, hey, prices have come down. There's still not tons of inventory, but a house costs a little bit less than it did a year ago. And we saw a little reduction in interest rates in the last month, starting in late December. So that was good. Those are all positive. Inflation seems to be slowing down. So, it's going little by little, but
Yeah,
that's how I see it. Um, and typically, in January, you get a few houses on the market, not as much, but after January, we tend to see more. In my local area, tomorrow is tour day for brokers, and I'm actually going to be at a house there again doing a cake drawing because I'm famous for that. And so we have lots of people coming by to put their card in. So that'll be fun for tomorrow. But yeah, it's going along little by little. Yeah.
that's kind of what we're seeing over here too.
Yeah.
Just put a co-listing on with one of my mentees
Oh,
yesterday, and before it even had all the pictures up, we had people wanting to schedule appointments.
yeah.
I was at the house doing the last little bit of touch-up stuff and getting a key in the lockbox, and somebody pulled up and said, "Are you the realtor?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, do you think my daughter could come in and see it? She's right here in the back seat. She'd really like to come in and see it." And I went down to the car, and turns out that they had missed the house next door a few months ago by 2 hours. By
Oh.
2 hours of getting
Oh.
their offer in time to be in the house,
Oh.
right?
Oh.
Missed it by 2 hours, and she really wants to live in the neighborhood. It's in Woodbridge,
Okay.
across the street from her mom. So it was really
Oh.
something. They've been banging on doors and trying to find
Oh.
a place, and so they wanted to know if they could go in. And I said, "Well, you're represented. I mean, if you've got a realtor, you should really see it with your realtor, not with me.
Yeah.
just really not quite right for me to take you in
Yeah.
without your realtor. So they're looking at it today, and we've
Oh,
already had
awesome.
4 showings today. I expect to have a couple of offers in, and the seller has asked us to hold off on giving him all the offers until after the weekend. So kind of exciting
Well,
to see things moving.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they are. Yeah, just
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's been a tough few, last 6 months, I'd say it's been a little tough, but nonetheless,
yeah.
these things
Nonetheless, you
continue.
know, everybody has to adapt. You sent me a thing, Frank Stevens. Is that the
What
name?
was it?
You sent me a link to a video. Frank Stevens or Frank?
Oh, yes, yes. I think it's Dave Stevens. Yeah, and he's in. Well, he has worked as the head of Freddie Mac, and he's had his own mortgage business, and he worked for the White House as an aide when they were looking at housing a few years back, and he really knows the business extremely well and what's happening. And he made some really, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but he
I
made
did.
some really good points. And the big points that he made was that housing, it's still a great time to buy a house. And one of the reasons he says that, and I mentioned this chart to you a little while ago, but it showed the house prices. If you bought a house in 1965, and it shows the housing market, over up until now 2023, and what the prices were. House prices have consistently gone up, and there's been a few little glitches along the way. For instance, the 2008 mortgage meltdown, which
Right.
was very unpleasant, and values took huge hits in those years. But if you look at the statistics overall, if you had bought a house in 1965 or 75 or 85, 95, your home would be worth more today, substantially more than it was in 1965.
Right.
And so even during some of the worst times, in my career, being the mortgage meltdown in 2008, if you had hung on to that house, if you were able to hang on to that house, did it drop in value in those years? Yes, it did. And probably a fair chunk. Would it be worth more than that today, plus some? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it just keeps growing. And so, if you can get in, it's a good idea, because if you hold it long enough, it's definitely going to go up in price.
Yeah.
And we still, even if people decided they didn't want to buy a house, or they did want to buy a house, we still, no matter what, we don't have enough housing. And right now interest rates are a little bit higher than people would like to see. They're not bad. My first interest rate was 12%, and we're nowhere, we're like half of that. But you know um, if they hold it long enough, it is going to stay in value. And we're not building enough houses in this country for the people who can afford or want to buy a house. It's a
Right.
huge problem. There's just not enough housing. And that also keeps the price going up as well. It's just the old supply and demand theory. Very, economics 101, supply and demand.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
he was really good, and he had a lot of other technical details he was talking about in the lending world, which is kind of boring for most. But I took that information. I thought it was a great chart, and we can certainly share it. We can get that out there. It's public
Yeah.
info. If you
Yeah.
want
In
to.
fact, I think it's down at the bottom of your screen. If you wanted to just throw it up, or
Um,
we can offer it at a later date. That's fine. Somebody
yeah,
can.
we'll probably do it later, because I hate to admit I'm not just a whole great techie person. My love is baking, and I know if I start screwing with it, I'm going to lose us all somehow, I'm sure.
All right. Well, everybody, if you want a copy of that chart, get hold of me or Corinne, and we
Yeah.
will get it out to you. Comment in the section below, above, to the side, wherever you're watching it.
Yeah.
It varies in every platform, but you just let us know, and we'll get you a copy of that.
That
What
I can
you're saying, I don't know if I shared it with you. I've shared it with several people, but my very, very first open house was a just shy of.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I thought I turned that off.
Was just shy of $1 million open house. It was
Wow.
800 something, right?
Yeah.
And I was there just to tour the house and get ready for my very first open house after I became a realtor. And in the driveway pulls this lowered Chevy Suburban, blacked out windows, nice tires and rims, just up in the driveway, right? My wife is with me. She goes, "Oh my God, we're in trouble, huh?" And I went, "No." And she goes, "Wasn't that the owner?" I said, "No, that's a buyer."
Yeah.
She goes, "What makes you say that?" And I said, "I don't know, just watch." And they pulled up, and husband, wife, and can see some kids moving in the back seat a little bit. He gets out, blah, blah, blah. "Are you the listing agent?" "No, I'm doing the open house tomorrow, blah, blah, blah." "Well, what's it going for?" Whatever it was, $800,000. And he goes, "Oh my God, she is going to be so mad." I don't know, "Why is that?" He said, "Because we looked at this house just about 8 or 9 months ago, and it was $400,000.
Oh,
But the weeds were this high, and it was dark, and
God.
there's spider webs, and it was creepy, and I just couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it. I thought Michael Moore was going to come out and kill us, you know? It was just horrible, scary, spooky. And so she finally gets out. We start talking, and she says, "Well, I was told that I should wait to buy a house." I said, "Why is that?" She said, "Well, because the market's going to come back down." And I said, "Well, you know, we had a conversation prior to that you saying this, that you said you were buying this so those kids there, those two boys, had a place to grow up, going to put a pool in, have pool parties, all this stuff, and get away from the ghetto environment in Stockton where you're living. You're just not comfortable with the schools, better school system out here, blah, blah, blah." So really and truly, there's not a bad time to buy a home. There is a bad time to buy a house. And she says, "Well, it's the same thing." And I said, No. A house is something you buy today to sell tomorrow, make a bunch of money, or make a little bit of money. A home is something that you are buying for the long haul, that over any period of time, it doesn't matter where you look in history, that in a 10-year period, you are going to have a positive equity. Even 2008, with that tremendous drop, by 2013, if I remember correctly, we were at or above what a normal inflationary rate would have put houses at in that time frame. So you're right. All you had to do is hang on.
If you could. And
If
I
you
mean, there
could.
were a lot of unfortunate circumstances, but if you could have hung on, yeah.
There were some bad loans. You know, I know,
Yep.
everybody that has paid attention knows there were some things that caused people to have to dump their house
Right.
and lose a boatload of money.
Right.
But if you do it properly and don't stretch yourself based upon something that might happen in the future, if you can afford it today and the payment's going to be the same in 10 years, unless there's some catastrophic thing that happens in your life, you lose your job, you die. I mean, there's so many things that can happen that cause you to have to get rid of your house. But if you don't have to, if you can afford the payment today, in 10 years, you can definitely afford it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because your wages are going up.
Usually, yes. That's the typical thing that happens. Yes.
Yeah.
It's true. Yep.
So true.
Yep.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing, and we talked about this really, really very quickly, in the world of lending, if when you look at interest rates and you see a huge range of rates and programs, but most people have probably heard of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and they're the quasi government agencies that control the lending rules, underwriting. They hold most of those loans in their portfolio, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, they also they make all the underwriting guidelines, and then they also have a system on pricing the interest rates. And we, the lenders, refer to that as LLPA, and that stands for loan level pricing adjustments. Now, what that means is that if we're comparing two buyers and one has a FICO score of 800 and the other one has 680, the one with 800 is going to get a much better rate than somebody with 680.
Right.
Now, in May, the agencies, Fannie and Freddie, have made changes to their LLPA or loan level pricing adjustments. And believe it or not, it is going to benefit people with smaller down payments. So instead of the traditional 20% down, if you've got 5%, 10%, 15%, in other words, less than 20%, your rate was usually not as good as somebody with 20% down. They are taking away those adjustments, and they are taking away a lot of the negative adjustments for people with lower credit scores.
Wow.
Shocking. But the goal is to help people get into homes who are not quite as well qualified as somebody with an 800 FICO score and 50% down, or has, rich grandparents or whatever it is. But those things are coming in May. And so that's going to be a huge help to people who need, a little bit of help. Me personally, the first house I bought, I only had 5% down. I didn't have anybody giving me any big chunk of money or, anything like that. So that's coming up, and it's great to be able to see that. And the other thing is, this is a good time to buy. Prices have come down a little bit, as we know, and the sellers are willing to negotiate. Hey, woohoo! That was not the case a year ago. It was take it or leave it, and I want $200,000 over asking price. And that has completely turned around. So that's a much easier pill to swallow when you've got some negotiating power as the buyer. They're willing to give credits, and that's another fairly complicated transaction or talk we can have on another video. But the buyers definitely have some advantages right now. Absolutely some advantages. And work with a good lender who can, quote to you how to take advantage of all those things, because they are out there. So that's two good things that are happening. They can negotiate, and they've got these loan level pricing adjustments that are coming out. So win, win, win. Yay.
Yay. Always like a win, 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 win. Yes, that's always the best. That's what I always negotiate for, is a win, win,
Absolutely.
win. Everybody wins, then everybody
Yes.
can walk away happy. And you talk about the prices having come down. I was actually at a Lunar New Year party.
Oh, how fun!
Yeah, it was. We missed out on the dragon dance. Got stuck in a little traffic. Missed out on the dragon dance, but got to see videos of it. That was pretty cool. And hung around with some friends and new friends and what have you. One of the hostess, she's a realtor with Keller Williams, and she was asking how things are going. I said, I see it picking up a little bit. We're starting to see a little movement. She goes, yeah, we're seeing the same thing over here. That's over in San Jose. And I said, yeah. She says, yeah, as a matter of fact, just last week, house came on the market. Don't know what address, I didn't ask, but it came on the market, and in 10 days had 5 offers, and it ended up selling for $200,000 over ask.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they priced it way low, and that I don't know, but I was kind of shocked that that was still happening a little bit,
Yeah.
starting to come back. I don't really want to see it come back
Mm-mm.
to that, but as people get into these LLPAs and as people get comfortable with the fact that even though it's not 2.75,
Yeah.
it really still is a very low interest rate historically.
Mm-hmm.
And with the programs out there, I see the same thing that Frank had said, is that by the end of the year, we're going to see not really what we saw in the last couple of years, but getting back towards that, where
Yeah.
buyers truly have to do some negotiating and have a good realtor and a good lender in their corner to be able to get them through the process and into a home, because I think there's going to be a lot more competition. As you said, we just don't have enough homes in this country,
Mm-hmm.
across the country,
Right.
besides just here, everywhere,
Right. Everywhere.
to meet the demand
Mm-hmm.
of the millennials that are coming up of age and are tired of living in the basement,
Yeah.
are ready to start their families and own something. And so
Yeah.
I see that we're not going to have, everybody wants to wait for the prices to come down. Over the long haul, they don't come down.
Yeah. Well, it's like the stock market. I mean, I don't know who originally said you can't time the stock market. I get, maybe there's somebody who can, I don't know. But when the stock market goes down, people initially want to sell. Oh my God, I got to get out of the market. I've got to sell all this off. I don't want to lose any more money. But if you look at it the other way, now the prices are lower. This is the time you want to buy. And so but it's a natural instinct, just as a human being, to say, oh, the sky is falling. I got to dump this house, or I got to get out of the stock market, instead of looking at it and deciding what you can and cannot do. And so, I always think of the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And the main character, Jimmy Stewart, says, Potter's not selling, he's buying. And that's the same kind of, I equate that the same way.
Yeah.
That's when the stock market goes down, don't sell. You should be buying because you get it for a better price.
Get it for a better price. And as
Just kind of funny how it
as
works.
we can look historically, housing prices, stock market, it don't matter. It's
Right.
always might drop, but it's always climbing.
Yeah.
It's always going to continue to climb.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I've had people ask me my entire career, well, do you think prices are going to come down? No, I don't. Why? Because there's not enough inventory.
Yeah.
It isn't like in 2008 where everybody and their brother was buying a house, even though and hurry and buy it, because you're never going to have to make that payment anyway. Because
God,
look how much they've gone up. Look. And even though there was at the end 12 months of inventory, people were buying it as if there was only 22 days of inventory.
Yeah.
22 days of inventory demands you to hurry up and buy it. If that's what you want, you have to make a decision fast. But when there's 12 months of inventory,
yeah,
it's strictly a buyer's market, and you get to make the decision instead of hurry, right?
Yeah. I know.
Yep.
We've seen these. I've been doing this 22 years, and I have seen, this. But it's still been consistently this way with those dips in there.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, exactly.
It
It's even the biggest dip of ever, and like we said,
Yeah.
5 years, 6 years at the outside, it had climbed where it would have been if it hadn't done this.
Right.
It would already be here with just a normal inflationary rate, a normal appreciation rate.
Yeah.
We would have been at the same place, other than the crash. And the crash happened, and it hurt a lot of people. But all those people are now back. And most of them ready to buy again. And now we have the new millennials coming in that are ready to buy. And because of the crash, They quit building houses because there wasn't a demand for them anymore.
Yeah, the builders have backed off right now too a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Well,
a little spooked.
it makes sense because people don't understand that when they build that house, they pay for everything on a loan, and they have what is called carrying costs. They have to make the loan payments. They have
Right.
to, pay the people before they ever sell the house. All that
Right.
stuff is costed to them,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
can't afford for it to sit there for a year
Right.
until it sells. They're going to slow down the building until they get a backlog
Yep.
of people wanting to buy and already approved and ready to move before they're going to start ramping up that building.
Yeah.
So I understand that very well. I come from the construction industry. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So everybody, we're getting close to a half an hour here. Make sure and go to Corinne's personal page, her business page, my personal page, my business page. Hit us up on Twitter, LinkedIn. Oh, LinkedIn, we didn't get on there. I'll have to post this on LinkedIn for you people on LinkedIn. Make sure and like, comment, and share to all the people on your side. And we're going to enter you into a drawing for Better Than Sex chocolate cake. Corinne, I really appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on all the time and imparting your words of wisdom for everybody.
Thank you. It's fun. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yay.
Exactly. All right, everybody. We are out. You guys have a